I first got into anime in the summer of 2014 when I was a sophomore going into my junior year of high school. I had already seen shows like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and even a little bit of Naruto back when that used to air on Toonami. But when I watched those shows, I didn't even know that what I was watching was from anywhere other than America. I just assumed that it was just some sort of cartoon with like a different art style. I had no idea that it was anything produced in Japan. I didn't know what anime was. I didn't even know that anime was a term. So one of my friends introduced me to Sword Art Online, and I know it's basically become a meme at this point that Sword Art Online is terrible. My opinion on the show has since changed after seeing videos like Digibro's analysis of it, where, you know, he really points out all the flaws in the show, and it's not something that I realized while I was watching it because my tastes were significantly less educated, I would say, at the time. My opinions have changed a lot since I first started watching anime, because when I first started, I was just kind of looking for like mindless entertainment. Like, not saying that the shows that I watched were stupid or anything, but I didn't have the same sort of critical opinion that I have gained. Part of this is because of consuming analysis videos on YouTube. Another part of it is in high school, I took advanced placement English courses, whether that was AP Literature and Composition, and the other one was AP Language and Composition. I think I mixed those two up. They came in reverse order, but going through those courses really helped me develop my critical mindset, and then once I started finding anime YouTubers who analyzed this stuff, well, then it just only got more and more complex from there. So now my awareness of what I'm watching has been heightened. I've fine-tuned it so that now when I see a glaring flaw in a show, it's not something that I can overlook, because that's all that I'm going to see then from that point forward. Like, I made a video about Fuka recently, for example, where it just stacked up until eventually it just broke me. At the time when I first got into anime, that didn't happen. Sword Art Online, it had a cool premise that hooked me. The art style was really engaging. It was something I had never really seen before. Of course, any sort of anime that I'd seen beforehand didn't look as new, as modern, because, you know, Dragon Ball Z, that aired in like the 90s. Pokemon, that was a bit of an older show, what I was used to. I mean, I had seen, I think, like Diamond and Pearl up to that point, but Sword Art Online just seemed to jump out compared to shows that I had seen in the past. And now that I knew, well, this is something that airs in Japan, this is anime. And Sword Art Online, while it might not be the most critically acclaimed series, I mean, it's sure as hell is popular, but it may not be the best written, the best directed, the most properly constructed show. It kind of falls apart the more you look at it, but it had enough to get me interested in anime as a medium. After that, I got into shows like Death Note. Death Note, I would say, is the show that really hooked me as like, okay, anime is great. I need to see more of this. What else do you got? So then I got into Attack on Titan, because that was a show, even when my friend first introduced me to Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan was the real talk of the town amongst my peers. So I got into Attack on Titan. Then I got into Naruto. I had recognized it as, oh, this is a show I've seen before, but I don't actually know what happens in it. So let me sit down and watch it. I binged it, like, over the course of really that month, from like Thanksgiving break to like the end of the winter break to the start of the new year. I binged Naruto. Like, I went through all of Naruto. Well, to be fair, not all of it. I found a filler guide and I skipped the filler, because once I ran into episodes where it was just entirely filler plot lines, I got bored really fast. So I skipped that, but still, I consumed hours upon hours of days of Naruto, including Shippuden. I made it, I think, up to like 300 episodes through Shippuden before I eventually dropped it. That wasn't the only show I was watching at the time, because now I have this weird like habit where I'll be watching like 9 shows at a time. I'll get like partway through one, like right now, for example. Well, currently I'm in the process of like marathoning Baby Steps, because I just can't stop watching Baby Steps. I just found it at the right time in my life where it just worked and it just clicked. The main character, A-chan, is just, I can empathize with him, and he's just, he's adorable because he's just so calculated, so, I kind of want to say boring, because like he lives a very predictable lifestyle. But before I started binging Baby Steps, again, I'm gonna be all over the place. I do apologize, but this is unscripted. I couldn't sit down to write a script for this. I just wanted to kind of get my story with anime out there, just so you can, I guess, get an idea of who I am, how I got here. Right now, I'm watching like 9 different shows at once, like I said. At the time where I watched Naruto, I was maybe watching 3, like a max of 3 shows at a time, until it eventually spiraled out of control. But I found incredible shows like Gurren Lagann, Hunter x Hunter, Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, there was a point where I was finding great show after great show after great show. At least at the time, that's what I thought. And I mean, Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online, I don't really care for them as much anymore. Death Note I still enjoy, although not as much as I did at the time of watching it. I don't value it as highly now, but I still think it's pretty good. But there wasn't a show that I hated, like a show that I just could not finish, because they were all really good. And then I found K-Project on Netflix, and that was the first anime that I couldn't finish. Like, I was so proud at the time, because I had this streak going where I just could keep watching shows, and none of them were bad. And I was like, I've discovered some sort of secret. Like, nothing, I can't find a bad show. Anime is just incredible. And then I found K-Project, and even then, I still managed to soldier through it, because I was like, I'm not gonna drop this show. This is not gonna be the first show that I drop. I'm going to complete everything that I watched, because I didn't want to admit that the show was bad. I didn't want to admit that anime had flaws like every other medium of entertainment that I had been exposed to. But after, I believe 10 or 11, I think it was 11 episodes of K-Project, and it's only like a 13 episode show, so I was so close to finishing it, but I just couldn't. It was boring. None of the characters meant anything to me. Like, none of them were really entertaining or engaging. I just couldn't finish it. So I finally admitted defeat, and I gave up on K-Project. It's one of my least favorite anime that I've ever seen, even to this day. So I'll probably have to go back and finish it at some point, because I feel like now that I make YouTube videos about anime, talking about the shows that I don't like is going to rear its ugly head at some point. That's going to become a reality. So we'll see how that plays out. As I said earlier, though, I was introduced to Crunchyroll around this time as well, thanks to Naruto and Hunter x Hunter, because Netflix didn't have all of Hunter x Hunter. It just kind of ends at like not even really the middle of the Chimera Ant arc. It just kind of like gets to the point. It gets beyond like a major plot twist, and then you soldier through it for another 10 or so odd episodes. We're starting to kind of build toward... No, we weren't even building to the climax at that point. It just cuts off. Like, maybe the first third of the Chimera Ant arc, and then it just stops. So because when I first got into Hunter x Hunter, I was like, okay, there's 5 seasons of this, and that's it. But no, it wasn't, and I was hooked. I could not stop watching this show, so I was like, I gotta find this somewhere. I gotta find more Hunter x Hunter. How can I keep watching this? Where is it available? So then I believe Glass Reflection was one of the first anime YouTubers I found, and in his videos, he talks a lot about Crunchyroll, whether it's like, oh, it's available for legal streaming there, or, even just sort of throwaway mentions like that. That was when I was really introduced to the idea of making YouTube videos about anime. Granted, it would be several years until I actually started making my own videos, but Glass Reflections anime reviews were my gateway into the anime YouTube community. It was also my gateway to Crunchyroll through him and Hunter x Hunter. I realized that was a thing, and I realized that because like with otherwise beforehand, I really only had seen things on Netflix, and Netflix has a very small window of shows that of anime shows rather, and even then, like, not every anime that's on Netflix is going to be something that I'm interested in. Even if, I've realized now that what might not appeal to me on the surface might have something that will grab my attention, so I probably shouldn't be so closed-minded to stuff like that, but I know what I look for, and nowadays, like, if I see an analysis video about a show that I don't think I would have watched, like Hibike Euphonium, for example, it didn't seem like a show that I would have been interested in watching, but I've seen videos from YouTubers like the Pedantic Romantic made a video about it, about how strong its characters are. Second Look made a similar video, but it approaches it in a different way, and it also adds more perspective on just how good these characters are. And I have a feeling that there was another YouTuber who made a video about it or mentioned it in a different video. Maybe it was Under the Scope, who I'm thinking of. But either way, Sound Euphonium, or Hibike Euphonium, is not a show that I would have watched. But now I have sort of the means where if someone can advocate for the show, showcase the highlights of the show, what makes it unique. For example, Hibike Euphonium is its strong characters. Then, I'm willing to sort of tear down my barriers and watch it. Now, I haven't watched it yet, but it is on my to-watch list, which is still, it's a pretty large list. I have at least 10 shows on there that I want to watch, but it's just a matter of finding the time to do so. And I'm also now at a point where I would like to try to watch shows while they're airing, so it's I gotta try to balance all of this and also do other things besides watching anime, like making videos on anime or making my wrestling videos. But I do enjoy making the YouTube videos. I've kind of lost track of where this point was going, and I'm going in a tangent regardless, so I'm just gonna take it back because, well, this video is gonna be long anyway, because it's unscripted. But after I got into Crunchyroll, then there was this period where I started getting into other shows that Crunchyroll was streaming because I was able to broaden my horizons. And, it's a streaming service strictly for anime. I didn't even know that existed before I found it through Hunter x Hunter and Naruto. So I started getting into shows like Anohana, Akame ga Kill, Parasite, I took a break from Naruto Shippuden for a while, but I eventually got back into it, and then dropped it again, and tried to get back into it, and dropped it again, and then I eventually just skipped ahead to the Naruto-Sasuke fight. And yeah, that was the way I concluded Naruto. I just couldn't. You think after plunging so much time into that show that I would have just bit the bullet and finished it, completely watched it all? But I had seen a video game playthrough from Team 4 Star about, I think it was Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and it covers the story, so why would I watch the anime, which is wrecked with filler, other than for that Naruto-Sasuke fight, because that was an incredible fight. It was just amazing, so I had to see that, and plus, that way I can say, I've seen the end of Naruto. Not gonna watch Boruto, though. I mean, I probably will check out Boruto at some point, maybe, just so I can make a video about how terrible it is or something like that, or how realistically it's probably not going to be terrible even, it'll probably just be Naruto, but without the interesting characters that it had all this time to develop. I don't know. I know nothing about Boruto. I can't even pronounce the thing right. Just throw this script down the trash can. I can't even pronounce Boruto right. I'm just gonna stop even trying to pronounce it properly. I don't even care anymore. Then I found Erased, or Boku Dake ga Inai Machi. And that was my introduction to watching shows as they aired weekly. This was where I really feel like I joined the fandom, in air quotes. This is where I found Digibro's channel in early 2016. I made a top 10, or not top 10, I made a top 5 YouTubers that I found in 2016 video on my other channel, which I'll probably link at the end of this video now that I mentioned it. But Digibro and Mother's Basement I found through their videos on Erased. Digibro made a video about why it wasn't that good, and Mother's Basement, his What's in a Scene video on it. Actually, I feel like I might have found Digibro a little before that Erased video, and that was what made me subscribe to him. I think that's what it was, because I had already seen... I don't remember which video it was. I think it was the Hunter x Hunter 2011 video he made about why it's badass. I believe that was the first video I found from him. But yeah, those two guys, I love their stuff. I mean, they're two like completely different approaches to how they make their videos. Digibro is a more broader sort of thing, but I mean, Mother's Basement, he focuses on like what's in a scene, what's in an OP. I don't know. Both channels are just great, and they're definitely big influences to the videos that I try to make, because that really gave me sort of an insight on, you know, I love it when someone can, even if the show is bad, kind of take the details that do make it good. Like, one of my favorite things ever is Digibro's series on the Asterisk War, or not on the Asterisk War sucks, but his series, The Asterisk War, sucks. It's just the amount of depth in that show, or not in the show itself, but in that series of videos that he made. It's just, hell, I could probably make a video in and of itself just on how great The Asterisk War sucks is. But that was how I got into watching things weekly, how I actually became what I would say part of the fandom. And Erased itself might not have been that good. My opinions on it might have changed. I think part of why I was so hyped for the show was because I was watching it weekly and I didn't know what was going to happen, and I had to wait each week, and there was a discussion going about it on the interwebs. Like even Jwitz, who isn't really known for anime stuff, he does Pokemon videos and now Nintendo videos, but even he was talking about Erased. So I was like, oh shit, I had better check this show out because it looks kind of cool. And the premise was cool. I liked Satoru's character design. Not much more to say beyond that. But then again, if I thought about it more, maybe I'd come up with more pros and cons. I mean, the Hinazuki scene, the breakfast scene was pretty cool. But then Mob Psycho 100, I felt really brought me back up, because in the spring season, I didn't see any shows that looked like, oh, I should totally watch this. Like, once all the hype around ReZero, I was waiting for ReZero to finish before I started it, and it took me a little while, because then I got into Konosuba later on down the line, and I kind of wanted to watch both shows beside each other. Like, I wanted to watch Konosuba and then like go to an episode of ReZero, because they are pretty similar, but in the end I just ended up going through Konosuba, and I kind of stopped with ReZero about halfway. Like, the part where, I guess, the spring and the summer sections of the story, I stopped right after that spring section. Like, they do the big reveal where it's like, oh, it's Felt, and she's in the whatever political thing they're about to do, this selection, whatever. But I haven't gone any further than that. I plan on going back to finish it, though, because I'm invested enough in the story that I'd be interested in watching it. But again, I'm getting on a bit of a tangent there. But after I watched Mob Psycho 100, I had more faith in watching things weekly. I got into the Yuri on Ice hype. I still think Yuri on Ice is a good show. It doesn't... Like, now that I've seen Baby Steps, and I don't know, like, they both set out to accomplish different things in the grand scheme of things. Like, Yuri on Ice, I guess, is more of a character, I don't want to say that Baby Steps isn't character driven, but Yuri on Ice is less, I don't know, I can't even say that it's less about the sport. I just feel like Baby Steps gets me to understand tennis, whereas Yuri on Ice, I don't understand figure skating. Like, how JJ manages to finish third after completely butchering his first skating thing. Yeah, I know it's worth less points than the second round, but I don't get it. I don't understand how he stood a chance. But this isn't a video to rag on any particular show or talk super high about any particular show. This is just my anime journey. And so eventually, after watching all of these anime, after watching all of these anime YouTubers and all these analytical videos, I thought, you know what? I can do this. I can think critically. Maybe not unscriptedly, but if I write out a script for myself and I process my thoughts properly, I can do what these guys are doing. I might not be as good as them, but with time, I can become good. And that brings me to this video, to this channel, because now I make anime analysis videos and I enjoy it. I want this to work. I want to improve myself over the course of this however long I end up making these videos for. I've got a couple more in the works that are going to be coming out shortly. I've taken a bit of a break because on my other channel I'm working on my WrestleMania pay-per-view, and that has been a major investment over the past month. Over a month, actually, I've been working on that thing. So once I get that out of the way, I'd like to turn attention back to this channel. Part of it, like, I already have a script recorded. It's just, I can't be bothered to edit the video, but I need to do it, and I'll do it eventually. But then I've now had the time to write some more scripts, so I have other ideas the videos are going to be coming back. I know I only took like a week off or so. This video might come out, it might be 2 weeks by the time this video gets uploaded. I don't know. This isn't going to be a very heavily edited video, so it could even be out the day after I record the commentary. Who knows? It's just a matter of when I can get to it. Anyways, enough rambling. That was my anime journey. That's how I got from becoming an insecure sophomore student in high school to now a slightly less insecure college freshman who makes anime YouTube videos, among other YouTube videos, and makes this video. I don't have a way to end this, so bye!